Just 2 weeks left for the WBSET exam to start on the 15th of December 2024. Before you go on to give this exam, probably in English, here are some things that you need to remember in order to pass this exam. First, the admit card of this particular exam is already available on the WBCSC website. All you need to do is put in your registration number, which you were given at the time of filling up the form, and your password. If you have forgotten your password, there is nothing to worry about. There is a simple link in the bottom called Forgot Password. Just need to click on that, and then you will be sent your password to your mobile number or your email address, depending upon the convention which you had set when you had filled up the form. After you download your admit card, you need to ensure that you get it printed from a proper cyber cafe or from a proper printer, because unlike net, WBSET in most cases requires you to have a color printout of your admit card. In case you don't have one, I suggest you go get one right now. Today is a Sunday. Don't waste around your time and get your admit card printed. But all this is aside, let's assume we get all our logistics right. How do we ensure that we pass this exam? Well, there are two fundamental differences between the WBSET and the UGC NET examination. The first is that the WBSET is an OMR based pen and paper exam, while the NET is a CBT or a computer based test. Well, what does this mean? It means that you will have less time. And the second difference is that in UGC NET you get 3 hours to complete the two papers. But in WBSET, you get 1 hour for paper 2 and then a gap, and then you get 2 hours for paper 2. Well, both of these things taken into consideration, the WBSET exam becomes a little more time constraining matter than the UGC NET examination. Well, many people, especially in paper 1, fail to finish the exam on time. Which is why even when I had done my previous videos on WBPSC, where there was also a similar pattern of OMR sheets, I had given a very similar suggestion which you can also follow now. Just go to your nearby stationery shop and ask for a bundle of OMR sheets. Then when you are practicing your sample papers, then you can easily practice it on your OMR. This will also help you in NET, because despite the fact that there are no such time constraints in NET, you get the full 3 hours for the two papers combined. There can come a time when the two papers are divided like they used to be back in the past, and then you again get 1 hour for paper 1 and 2 hours for paper 2. So this is the first and the most important suggestion that I will be giving out to you. The second suggestion that I will be giving out to you is about the order of questions which you should be attempting in order to perfectly calibrate your attempting procedure. What do I mean? Well, there are 10 chapters in the first paper of WBSET. As you know, the syllabus is exactly the same as UGC NET. So, in what order do you need to attempt your questions in order to get the maximum output from this particular set? In my suggestion, if your subject is English, I would suggest you to begin with the comprehension. Since set is a printed question paper, you can easily flip through the pages to find out which question is coming out where. Then if you attempt the comprehension at the very beginning, you can easily eliminate 5 out of 50 questions, so 10% of your questions are done at the very beginning. And if you don't know how to attempt comprehension questions, or if you want me to make a detailed video about how to solve comprehension questions in both paper 1 and paper 2 of UGC NET and WBSET, you can leave a comment down below using the word comprehension, and then I'll know that how many people want me to make a detailed video on comprehensions exclusively. But what I'll tell you is that you quickly need to find out the questions before you read the passage. This is the one-line suggestion that I will be giving out to you at this moment. And to know more about that, I already told you what to do. And if you have watched until this point, you can see a subscribe button at the bottom of your screen and a bell icon right next to it. Now is a great time to ring that bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, which I'll be doing every once a week from now on, you will get a notification and you won't miss out on any of the wonderful stuff that I have to put out. So After the comprehension, you can then go on to the questions which you are the weakest at. For example, say you have not studied the chapter on people and environment or higher education, assuming that you have taken your classes from me, then you won't have studied these two chapters, because I don't put any kind of pressure or any kind of focus on these two chapters, as all the information that is there on these two chapters need to be memorized, and I hate the entire idea of mugging things up just for the purpose of exams. So if you have not studied these two chapters, just read the questions which are given from these chapters, quickly find out which options you want to tick, circle them, color them, and move on, because that way you will be left with more times. Since these questions are not really known to you, you don't need to waste much time with them. Just go with your gut and select whichever option you have the most gut feeling towards, and since there is no negative, you can attempt all the questions. Then you can go on to the questions of mathematical aptitude. Mark me, not data interpretation, mathematical aptitude. Then you can go on to the questions of logical reasoning, communications, IT, all these chapters, teaching aptitude, research methodology, all these chapters can be attempted one after the other. Why do I say this? Because at the very end of your attempt, you should have 10 to 12 minutes to do data interpretation. Now, when it comes to data interpretation, if you have attempted net or set practice papers or past year's question papers, then you know it's getting tougher by the day. They are asking you percentage of profit, percentage of loss, percentage, proportions. Then they are asking you to do long-term divisions, long-term multiplications, and things are getting more difficult by the day. So in order to prepare yourself for all this, I would suggest you practice all the previous years, at least past 4 to 5 set papers, 4 to 5 net papers you practice, and then you prepare yourself accordingly. Make sure you don't make any silly mistakes. Remember, in set or net for that matter, for every silly mistake you make, they have an option ready. They know which type of mistakes people make: addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, percentage calculation, profit and loss. Every step you need to double check. And in case you are lucky, you will get an answer which is not there in the options. In that case, you will check yourself again. But if you're unlucky, you will get an answer which is there in the option, but it's not the correct answer. In that case, even if you get an answer, if you have spare time, I would suggest you to recheck your steps and make sure you got the right answer before you circle it. Unlike net, there is also another problem with set, that is, once you circle a question's option, you can never go back and change it. There is also another issue here that I would like to share. This goes back to 2018, when the last time UGC net was conducted in the OMR mode. Back then it was taken by CBSE. If we keep the one that was conducted in June 2024 out, because that was cancelled. That year I made a blatant mistake. I first answered the questions in the question paper itself. I marked the questions with their correct options with the tick in the question paper, and then I copied the answers from the question paper to the OMR at the very last. That made me make an error where I mistakenly skipped one question and wrongly marked 17 questions in the wrong option. Say for question number 61, I marked it with 62. 62, I marked it as 63. 63, I marked it as 64. And this continued. So whenever you finally finish a question's solving, you should mark it in the OMR then and there. And you should always carry a plastic transparent scale, so that you know that whichever question you are marking, you are actually circling the option for that particular question only. Now this is the tip that I had to share for paper 1. If you want me to make another video about paper 2, you can share this video on your Facebook page with tagging me and mentioning that you can want a second part of this, where I will make a detailed video for paper 2. And you can also leave a comment down below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I will see you in the next video. Till then, hasta la vista.